6:12 p.m. We got a number of presentations and everything, and we want to be mindful of everyone's time. So with that, Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Cavell.
Here.
Commissioner Gershenson. Commissioner Gingell.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hoffman. Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Johnson.
Present.
Commissioner Joliet.
Here.
Commissioner Long.
Here.
Commissioner Lubes.
Here.
Commissioner Markham.
Here.
Commissioner McGillivray.
Here.
Commissioner Miller.
Here.
Commissioner Nelson. Commissioner Powell. Commissioner Rahman.
Present.
Commissioner Smith Charles.
Present. Present.
Commissioner Spiz.
Here.
Commissioner Weipert. Commissioner Woodward.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Next up, I will call on the Honorable Yolanda Smith Charles, who will lead us with this evening's invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. So if Commissioner Smith Charles will come forward.
Please remain seated. Caught me a little off guard there, Chair.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, here we go. So as was stated, my name is Yolanda Smith Charles, and on this amazing occasion, I thought it would be nice to bring a very meaningful, but yet I'll read it very quickly, poem. In the realm of love, let our voices resound. For Mother's Day, a tribute profound to the traditional and the unconventional, all the moms who make our lives exceptional. To the aunts who embrace us with open arms, filling our lives with laughter and charms. Your love, like a beacon, always shines, guiding us through life's twists and turns. To the sisters who mother with tender care, supporting us, always being there. Your nurturing hearts, a steady embrace. In sisterhood's bond, we find solace and grace. To the pet moms who shower love unspoken, their fur babies cherish, their hearts unbroken. You care for them with unwavering devotion, a bond so pure, a love without emotion. To the motherless, those souls who carry a void, their spirits uplifted, never destroyed. Through memories and legacies they prevail, love transcending, never to fail. To the chosen moms who step into the light, opening their hearts, shining ever so bright. Their love extends to those not of their own, building families from seeds lovingly sown. To the grandmothers who nurture across generations, bestowing wisdom, love, and inspiration. Their love echoes through the sands of time, a lineage of strength, eternally sublime. To the mother figures who lend their care, a steady presence, always aware. Your selfless acts and kindness extend, creating bonds that time cannot bend. On this upcoming Mother's Day, we honor and celebrate you, mothers, both traditional and non-traditional too. Your love is the thread that holds us tight, guiding us through darkness into light. So let us gather, hearts entwined with gratitude and love forever bind. Let's make this world a more beautiful place. And that was written by, somebody guess.
Beautiful young poet.
ChatGPT. ChatGPT. That was my ChatGPT poem for Mother's Day. All right, everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith Charles. An excellent poem in recognition of this Mother's Day that's coming up, and a great way to start off our meeting. Next up, we got approval of the minutes. So do we have a motion to approve the minutes? Moved by Commissioner Lube, seconded by Commissioner Joliet. Any discussion on the minutes from the previous meeting, April 20th? See none. All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the minutes are adopted unanimously. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Moved by Commissioner Rahman, seconded by Commissioner Long. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of adopting the agenda as presented, say aye. 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 Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the agenda has been adopted unanimously. Next up, we have a number of presentations, and so we're first going to start with our outstanding older adult awards, and so let me come down there. Where's my notes here? Everything's printed out the same thing. So we are so incredibly fortunate to have a number of tremendous citizens that make this county great. The Outstanding Older Awards began a tradition started last year by a number of people here. This is a county that continues to lean in to make certain that the support, not only the recognition of our seniors, but that we move the resources necessary to support our seniors in our communities, including the creation of an elder office in the executive office to help support, plan, coordinate, and provide recommendations to us, as well as the work and the leadership of a number of people on this board, namely Commissioner Nelson, who leads our older, the name of the committee is the Older Healthy Aging Ad Hoc Committee. Which has really led to some great ideas. And so I would like to call up, we got 4 people that we're gonna present rewards. I know that one couple is not able to be with us this evening, but I will still call up the commissioner that represents them. So let me call up Commissioners Karen Joliet and Kristen Nelson that can talk a little bit more about this award, as well as kick off the recognition of the first awardee.
Excellent. Thank you, Chairman. Good evening, everyone. It's good to see everybody and be here, so good evening. In light of May being recognized as National Older Americans Month, it is our honor here this evening to recognize outstanding older adults who go above and beyond to share their passions, their experiences, and their talents to enrich the lives of others. Older adults are a valuable resource across our communities, and the individuals being honored here tonight have demonstrated that any one of us can make a difference at any point in time in our lives. With that being said, I'd like to call our first awardee, Erin Asdell, forward to the podium. So, everyone, Erin is the most amazing woman I have met in my journey so far over the past 5.5 years. Erin is a lifetime resident of Waterford Township and coordinator for the Waterford Senior Center and supervisor of the Encore Adult Day services. Leading an amazing army of volunteers, Erin has had enormous impact in expanding older adult programs and services that promote healthy lifestyles and social engagement.
And Erin goes above and beyond, creating loving, supportive, fun, and engaging opportunities for older adults to connect in meaningful ways, in addition to providing emotional, educational, and social support to caregivers. And I can say I have personally had the privilege of working with Erin before commission. I was 8 years trustee and spent time with her, and I also had the privilege of riding along for a Meals on Wheels day. And wow, it really opened my eyes on how much you are truly invested and how much the people depend on you. So, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Commissioners Joliet and Nelson, for this honor. I'm very humbled. I've been part of the Waterford School District Senior Center programs for 27 years, and so I've aged in place, and I guess that's something all of you can consider as you age. How can you impact your community? How can you make life better in your circle? I'm a Waterford person, and here I am, and I suspect I will be involved in senior services, till the day I'm not. That will be a long time. So thank you very much for this honor, and I am privileged to serve my community, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Aaron, for your leadership and all the contributions you provide to our great county. Next up, I'm going to call on Commissioner Hoffman to present the next award. Oh, always the gentleman.
Good evening, everybody. When this program or recognition was first announced, I called George Cullis, who was the supervisor of Holly Township, and the village manager, Jerry Walker. And we all agreed that there's only one person in that area who qualifies for this award, and that's Marlo Davidson. I have changed the name of it a little bit. I'm calling it the Outstanding, a little older than me Adult Award. And Marlo has been active in the community for over 50 years, from being part of the committee to form the DDA, to serving as the chamber for 12 years and serving as the second lady president for 2 years. That was back in '84 and '85. In 2000, she single-handedly worked to save the chamber by opening an office inside one of our businesses where she worked out a deal for some desk space. In 2018, the Holly Area Chamber celebrated our 100th anniversary, thanks in part to Marlo. She has also served on the Village Council from 2000 to 2004, along with the ZBA and the Planning Commission. As part of the Main Street Merchants Group, she chaired the Streetscapes Committee. She helped with the Carrie Nation Festival and the Holly Historical Society. This year is the 50th anniversary of the Holly Dickens Festival, and Marlo has been involved for all 50 years. She currently runs the Christmas Sing-Along, a 10-year tradition which she started. At her 80th birthday, Holly supervisor George Cullis planned on surprising her at the council meeting with a birthday cake that he had made. Marlo showed up with a larger sheet cake to share with everyone to celebrate her birthday. That's how giving this young lady is. She is loved and cherished by all those who live in our great town. Please welcome my good friend, Marlo Davidson.
You want to say a couple things? No.
Despite everything she's done, she's very shy.
Thank you very much.
Stand out here, we'll get a picture.
Next, I'm going to call on Commissioner Lubes to present our next awardee.
Thank you. I would like to introduce you to Barbara Asepi. So Barbara's been a lifelong volunteer and supporter of people who live, work, and play in Clawson. Barbara was first elected to City Council in 1989, where she remained a council member until being elected mayor in 2003. I followed Barb's footsteps as mayor in 2003, and prior to that, I watched Barb at council meetings. So she is my mentor, and I am who I am today by watching and mimicking and mirroring Barb's behavior and her actions towards other people. So whether you know it or not, you have affected many people in your life. It's a domino effect. You did the right thing throughout your life, and contributed hours and hours of volunteering to different groups and agencies, I do the same thing. So it's a domino effect. It just moves on and on. So Barb and her husband Warner were active participants and supporters of Boy Scouts of America. Guess what? I'm still the secretary in a Boy Scout troop. I did actually follow your footsteps, and I mean what I say. So Barb is very active in our Clawson 4th of July activities for many, many, many years. Over 40 years. Our 4th of July is our signature event in Clawson, so that's your work made it that popular event. She's also involved and continues to work with the Knights of Columbus. And I just want to thank you for sharing your time and your family with all of us in Clawson. So thank you, Barb.
Penny is embarrassing me. But I thank you, I'm honored to get this award. Thank you.
Well deserved. And now we get our picture taken.
Well, now we all know how Commissioner Lubes learned how to run a cutthroat, efficient meeting. Next, I know that these awardees are not here, but I want to recognize Commissioner Powell. I think at a future time, a future meeting, we will be able to make the presentation, but Commissioner Powell.
So my my awardees for this the individuals that I want to honor tonight, the wife, I'm doing a couple, Dr. Bruce Turpin and Carol Turpin. Dr. Turpin is a former dentist in our city of Pontiac, and his wife was a former school board member. She's out of town, and I wanted to be able to honor both of them, so we'll just honor them at a next meeting. But I wanted to put on note who we were honoring as well for this award. Thank you.
We will do it at the next meeting. All right, well, another round of applause for all of our awardees. It's another example of what makes this county great is the contribution of all of these incredible leaders giving of their time selflessly to make the world better for all of us. Next up, we have a proclamation, and I want to recognize Commissioner Ajay Raman to present the proclamation, recognizing AAPI month. So why don't you come up here and I'll hand it off.
All right. Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Ajay Raman. I'm one of the newest Oakland County Commissioners representing the 14th District, consisting of Novi, Wixom, Walled Lake, and Commerce Township. It is my distinct honor and privilege to be here before you this evening, presenting my very first proclamation recognizing the month of May as Asian American and Pacific Islander AAPI Heritage Month. As a first-generation Indian American, this tribute is very near and dear to my heart and culture. To give you some quick statistics, the AAPI communities consist of approximately 50 distinct ethnic groups speaking over 100 languages, with connections to Chinese, Indian, Japanese, Filipino, Vietnamese, Korean, Hawaiian, and other Asian and Pacific Islander ancestries. Asian Americans are the fastest growing racial and ethnic group in the US, seeing an explosive growth rate of about 75% in just the last 2 decades. Asian Americans are projected to become the single largest immigrant group, even outnumbering US Hispanics within the next 30 years here in the US. So pretty significant statistics and definitely a large group. So with that, I'd like to call upon some friends of mine from an organization called Rising Voices. So if you'd please come up and join me here. Yeah, please. Right here. Thank you. All right, this wonderful nonprofit group works towards a fairer and more inclusive Michigan for the Asian American population. These advocates represent many in the AAPI circle who are often overlooked or frequently not heard to ensure that all Asian Americans have a voice in their communities. I am proud to know them, work with them, and support their efforts wherever and whenever possible. And today I wanted to take the opportunity to recognize their service to the AAPI community. So with that, we'll go ahead and start the proclamation. So I'm just going to go ahead and read this to you. Commissioner Markham, if you'd join me, please. I'll get started here. All right, so this proclamation is important to recognize the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities who have enriched America's history and are instrumental in its future success. Those of AAPI heritage from Asia and the Pacific Islands of Melanesia, Micronesia, and Polynesia have made significant contributions to the American culture and economy for more than a century and celebrated each May. The first Japanese immigrants arrived in the United States on May 7, 1843, and the Transcontinental Railroad was completed on May 10, 1869, by a workforce whose majority were Chinese immigrants. Since 1977, these significant events and the impact Asian American and Pacific Islanders make on our nation have been highlighted as part of the Asian Pacific American Heritage Week, which became Asian Pacific American Heritage Month in 1990. And
excuse me, whereas the AAPI population is one of the nation's fastest growing ethnic populations and continues to add an incredible legacy of educators, artists, activists, and more, it is estimated that the AAPI community members make up 9% of Oakland County's population, and the number of eligible AAPI voters in Michigan has grown by 59% since 2010, demonstrating their influence on local politics. And whereas Rising Voices, a Metro Detroit nonprofit, seeks to organize and develop the leadership of Asian American women and youth, the organization works to promote political engagement, increase resources like culturally appropriate health care, foster inclusivity, and bring recognition to the unique narratives and lived experiences of this marginalized group. Rising Voices is committed to dismantling systems of oppression and creating a space for healing at the individual, communal, and institutional levels. And
whereas during AAPI Heritage Month and every month, we join with Rising Voices, members of the AAPI community, and allies in reflecting on the history of the Asian American and Pacific Islanders and combating discrimination and exclusion. Now therefore, David T. Woodward, Chair of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, myself, Commissioner Ajay Raman, and the entire Oakland County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim May 2023 as AAPI Heritage Month in Oakland County. We encourage all to join us in celebrating the contributions made by Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders to our community. Thank you.
I have notes or else I ramble. Hi, my name is Regina Sang. I'm one of the co-directors for Rising Voices. And I just want to say thank you so much to the entire Board of Commissioners for this recognition, with special thanks to Commissioner Raman for always being a champion for our communities. So this recognition is especially meaningful as Oakland County has been a key focus in our outreach and our Canvas work, being the county with the largest Asian American population in the state at, I had 8%, but they said 9%, so I'm gonna go with that, 9% of a share and growing. In addition to our electoral work, Rising Voices builds community power through cultural organizing and civic education. So a really beautiful example of this is actually our Asian American Market event that just happened this past weekend at Frame in Hazel Park, and it was amazing and delicious. So if you missed it, we hope you can catch the next one. So it was just really powerful to be a part of and to witness this space, this joyous space for community members, for family, for friends to gather in celebration of AAPI Heritage Month. Our core work also includes advocating for language access and for inclusive education so that Oakland County students and young people across the state of Michigan will be able to study Asian, Latinx, Arab, African American, and Indigenous history as a fundamental part of their curriculum. So we really hope the board and all your esteemed colleagues will continue to ensure a home for families where all of this can happen and where everyone feels safe and welcome to celebrate all of our diverse traditions and our heritage. So thank you again for the recognition and for recognizing the need for visibility for Asian Americans in the county. We hope to see continued collaboration and continued dialogue between local government and our communities to really ensure meaningful representation for our families and our loved ones. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Dr. Rahman, for bringing attention to the increasing diversity that's making this county such a wonderful place to live. Next up, and I'm going to call on Commissioner Nelson to bring up and read the proclamation on behalf of Commissioner Powell, as well as Commissioners Jackson and Commissioner Smith-Charles.
Good evening again, everyone. With a strong focus on sisterhood, scholarship, and public service, it is our honor this evening to recognize the Delta Sigma Theta Pontiac Alumni Chapter this evening.
That's it.
Whereas we are indebted to organizations that promote human welfare and work to support their community in many ways while maintaining the close bonds of sorority sisterhood across generations. And whereas the Pontiac Alumni Chapter of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority has been engaged in those goals since November 30th, 1976, serving Pontiac and the surrounding areas of Oakland County. A sisterhood of primarily Black, college-educated women, the PAC partners with churches and nonprofits and community organizations to assist youth, seniors, families, and underserved groups. Their 5-point programmatic thrust consists of economic development, educational development, international awareness and involvement, physical and mental health, and political awareness and involvement, and
the diverse array of public service initiatives undertaken by Delta Sigma Theta include wealth-building seminars for all ages, cancer and mental health awareness forums, and community outreach to promote Black-owned businesses. The PAC also actively supports such charitable fundraisers as the upcoming March of Dimes Walk, and the PAC is committed to mentoring local youth through the Delta Academy for Girls in middle school, Delta Gyms for girls in high school, and Salute to Our Young Heroes for boys in 11th and 12th grades. These programs promote academic success, goal setting, personal growth, strong peer relationship, and a focus on community service. And whereas...
Thank you. And thank you, ladies. My firstborn is your Soror Epsilon Epsilon chapter. Whereas we join with the women of the Pontiac Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta to celebrate their strong history and extend our gratitude for the significant contributions they make to enrich the lives of those in Pontiac and all of Oakland County. Now, therefore, David T. Woodward, Chair of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, Commissioner Angela Powell, and the entire Oakland County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim special commendation to the Pontiac Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta. Welcome, ladies. Come to the podium. You are on the program to bring forth a presentation, and so we're excited to hear it. Can they all come up? All of you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know what they say, when Delta Sigma Theta's in the house, it's going to be a good day.
Come on, ladies, all of y'all today. I need y'all all up here. Y'all done gave me all the warm hugs. Come join me back up here, please. Thank you.
Right. Just pretend I don't know. We're coming, we're coming. Well, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Sisterhood, scholarship, service, and social action. Let's give that a round of applause. So greetings to all of the commissioners here, Board Chair David Woodward, Commissioners Powell, Nelson, and Smith. Charles, yes. Our majority caucus chair, Janet Jackson, and yours, but she's also ours, Captain McClellan. Yes, sorority sisters, friends, and everyone here this evening. My name is Sanjia K. Wiggins, and I am the president of the proud and prestigious Pontiac Alumni Chapter. I will not belabor the time and go over all the wonderful things that were already mentioned, but I do want to say a couple of things. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is an organization of college-educated women committed to the constructive development of its members and to public service with a primary focus on the Black community. Again, we are the proud and prestigious Pontiac Alumni Chapter. As mentioned before, the chapter has been in the community for almost 47 years come this November, and we continue to do the hard work in this community as well as about 21 others. In 1976, 25 vibrant members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, who were already working in the community, saw a need for a larger group to work in the community. We have one of those beautiful charter members here with us this evening, Dr. Anna Chandler. I had please wave, but you were up here. So go ahead and please wave. So fast forward to today. We again serve over 21 communities in approximately 11 school districts, and we have over 145 members, 149 to be exact, Madam Treasurer. There she is. So as mentioned before, our focus is on our 5-point thrust. And as mentioned before, you heard all the things that we already do. So I'm going to keep scrolling. So we, the Pontiac Alumni Chapter, are excited about the things that we do in the community, and we look forward to continuing in partnership with all of you here. Thank you so much for allowing us to come into your house and share with you some of the wonderful things that we do in the community that you all serve as well. Thank you to all the members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated Pontiac Alumni Chapter and our special guest. We have our state social action chair, Sor Danielle Atara as well. And I would be remiss if I did not thank my social action chair, Sor Vicki Ellis, for all that she has done as well. Thank you all for this proclamation and award. It is definitely dedicated to all of the chairs that are in our chapter because they do all of the hard work. Please, please, please help yourself to the refreshments in the foyer, and thank you once again so much. I told her I don't know red today. Wait. Oh.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, good.
No, I was about to expect her. No.
Thank you, Delta. Thank you, Commissioner Powell, to making sure that we gave the appropriate recognition to a group of women that continue every single day to do great things in the community. I'm going to let people let me get back to their seats. Our next item, we have a presentation with one of our closest working partners here in Oakland County, and that's the Oakland Community Health Network. To give an update, Christine Burke is here to lead that update, and we got a PowerPoint presentation, so I just want to make sure staff can turn on the appropriate devices, but I will call on Christine. Welcome. Thank you. No stranger to us. Our partnership has grown exponentially over the last little while, and we're so proud to be able to continue to support and expand and scale up the work that OCHN continues to do to improve, provide critical services to our community. So with that, Christine, the floor is yours.
No pressure.
Mike.
Am I on now? There you go. Okay. I have an outdoor voice anyhow, but congratulations, ladies. I was sitting there thinking, no pressure to come up here and present at this time. As the Commissioner Woodward mentioned, my name is Christine Burke. I'm Chief of Staff at Oakland Community Health Network. Our CEO, Dana Lazenby, asked that I please express her sincere apologies for not being with us tonight. She is with her daughter at her hooding ceremony, who is receiving her doctoral in DC. So we are very excited for her, and she is a proud mother at this time. I am joined by Kyle Glasgow. Kyle's our Director of Access for Services for the Resource and Crisis Center. So just in case there were any clinical or service-related questions, which I would not be able to answer, he's going to help with that. Before we move on to the presentation, though, there are a few things I wanted to mention. You do have a copy of Dana's monthly director's report, along with a copy of the presentation. So there are a number of sets of data in the report that identify the reasons people call, the reasons people come to us for help, the number of people we're serving. Commissioner Cabell and I were talking a little bit. One of those data sets includes information about our co-responder program. So that program is funded, part of it is funded by the commissioners, in that a clinician will accompany law enforcement to a crisis situation where an individual is experiencing either a substance use challenge or a mental health challenge. And the goal really is to help de-escalate the situation and connect people to the supports they need. So since January, we have had about 400 referrals. And a referral can have a lot of different looks to it. So a referral could be, you need a clinician. It could also mean you just need someone to call and talk. It could mean we want to connect you with follow-up. It depends on really where people are in the situation and if they're ready to get help. We have 4 right now, 3 who have been working for well over a year, 1 who is onboarding, and as I mentioned, since January, we have impacted the lives of 400 people with that service. One other thing I want to mention, which is brand new, we're actually going to send out a press release tomorrow that the American Psychiatric Association has chosen OCHN to host 3 fellows at our agency for the next 3 years, I believe it is. And so it's an inaugural program for the Psychiatric Association, and it's a diversity fellowship. So all of the fellows who are psychiatric medical students and residents, they have diverse backgrounds. And the goal is to be able to reach and identify the unique needs in some of our minority populations that aren't getting the mental health care that they need. And so we're very excited. This was a big honor. People across the country were applying and trying to get the fellows brought to their community, and they will be coming to Oakland County. And that press release will be going out tomorrow, I believe. And with that, I'm going to move on to our Youth and Family Care Connection. We've talked a little bit about the program. We wanted to give you more detailed information. We are so excited about this opportunity. There's been a lot of conversation, and how do you fill the gap of services where we have kids and their families in emergency department rooms in a mental health crisis. And the hospitals do the best they can with the resources they have, but the goal really is to ensure that families get the care they need faster. And so we're partnering with our hospitals to ensure that families get the care they need when they need it. A little bit overview of our organization. So we are the public mental health system. We serve individuals who have mental health challenges, intellectual or developmental disorders, and substance use disorders. We serve about 27,000 people directly, but we always like to point out at some point in another, we contact and we are supporting their loved ones and their allies. So that number, that 27,000, we say you can add a family member, you can add a friend, you can add a neighbor, you can add anyone who has a relationship with someone who may be living with one of these challenges and also needs support from us, but they also need to see that their loved one is being supported. So our Youth and Family Care Connection program, it was meant to fill a gap, but it has a broader reach as well. So right now we have the Resource and Crisis Center. So all kiddos and adults, anyone in crisis would go to the Resource and Crisis Center for support. The Youth and Family Care Connection actually has two features. So there is one part of the program that is long-term. There is one part that is open for anyone to come in the community. It is for kiddos 17 and under and their family members. In terms of who we serve, primarily as a public mental health service, we support individuals who have Medicaid health coverage. That being said, our responsibility, our contract with the state is we are to support anybody in any crisis at any time. Once that crisis has been stabilized, if they have private insurance, then we make that transition to that support. With this program, if it's a kiddo who has Medicaid insurance, private insurance, or they're underinsured, everybody is welcome to access these services if they need them. So the way the program works on the community side, if you come into the entrance, a new family entrance that has been created, there are a team of clinicians who do what we would call a mental health triage. And that would be to assess the situation. Is this something where the family needs immediate care and or a higher level of care? And so then we would coordinate that. Is this something where the family just needs temporary support to de-escalate the situation, or on the other side to determine do they need connection to community-based resources. So really there's a professional assessment of what is the level of need and care for that family at that time. And it's not intended to be physically related in terms of if you've got a broken arm, you take your child to the hospital for physical injuries. It's also not intended to replace long-term inpatient care. So families shouldn't come thinking, okay, I have a kid in crisis and you know what, we need to keep them here because this is where they're going to be safe. Those assessments are done by our professional clinicians. It really is filling in a gap that exists currently, and sometimes families don't know where to go. They don't want to be stuck in the ED, and they're not sure if they want to go to an adult type program. So this is really a new way and approach of expanding services to families. When we first started to develop the program, and I should say in the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, about a year ago, started talking about what they would call crisis stabilization units. This is a look-alike. We knew there was a need in Oakland County. There's a need across the country. As they were developing the program, we applied for a grant to SAMHSA to get ahead of the curve. We said we didn't want to wait till the program was developed. We think we can build this plane and then have people follow us. So we were awarded the grant. We have had people from the department come and look at the program because it is one of a kind in the state. So a lot of what you will see now being developed across the state and in some instances across the country will be modeled what we've done here in Oakland County. Part of that included releasing an RFP for our service provider who would be responsible for administering the supports to families. They work closely with Kyle, they work closely with our non-emergency access team, and then of course we contract with Common Ground for crisis services as well. So there is a very close-knit partnership between our three entities. New Oakland Family Centers was awarded the project. We already had a relationship with them in that they have been providing our youth mobile crisis services in Oakland County for a few years now, and then we've had a contract with them for about 20 years, and so they have other criteria relationships across the state and the number of children that they serve. So the crisis care unit has 8 rooms. If a child comes to us through the Care Connection program, the general community, and it's decided that this family needs elevated care, then they can be transitioned to the crisis care unit, which has 8 beds. The other way to access that service unit is through our hospital partnership. So if a family has an ED calls, our partners call and they say, we've got a kiddo in here with some elevated needs, there will be coordination. That is the only way to access that crisis care unit. And the reason for that is we want the experts to make the assessment of the true need of that child. The program, we had this conversation a little while ago just to give you an idea of the expansion of services. Years and years ago, before we redeveloped the Resource and Crisis Center, which is on this campus, Common Ground provided those services out of Doctors Hospital in Pontiac. I think we had, I'm looking at Penny, I think we maybe had, what, five beds? Maybe 6 for the entire county, and we had none specifically for children. When we redesigned the Resource and Crisis Center, we had 2 for youth. 1 really was actually being used, but we realized immediately you have families in crisis coming into the same entrance and lobby as adults who may be experiencing adult level crisis. So this really separates that. It's a much more family friendly environment. But with this particular unit, again, not meant to replace long-term inpatient care if a child needs that level. They are allowed to stay for 3 days. What our Dr. Posios would say is that it's an opportunity when you're in ED, a lot of the times the families really are just waiting. In this environment, treatment starts immediately. So if treatment, therapy, and assistance start immediately, it is very likely that you will de-escalate the situation and long-term care will not be needed. Again, it's to triage. We provide psychiatric evaluation, medication management if needed. There's group therapy, there's recreational activities. If it is determined after those 72 hours there's a higher level of need, that also will be addressed. Some of the things that are unique in terms of our services are parent involvement. So parents or guardians are required to stay with their youth until the whole access process and really are engaged in understanding what's happening, what are next steps. They are not allowed to stay overnight with their children, but they are given frequent access, frequent updates. And some of that is care related, right? So it depends on what the need of that child is and what they think is going to be best for that family. We also have parent peers. This is very important. We know in all of our mental health supports that having individuals with lived experiences firsthand is beneficial in all outcomes. So the parents who are involved in supporting those who come to the unit may have a child themselves who is living with an intellectual or developmental disability or a mental health challenge. So having someone, a parent who has walked that path, help to guide you to navigate services, to share their own experiences, and I think most importantly, to offer hope. Because if you hear from someone who has been where you are in that moment of crisis, talk about their experience and where they are now in terms of their success and their outcomes for their loved ones, it does really inspire hope in families who are in sometimes their most challenging times. So again, the CCU is not intended to replace inpatient hospitalization, and we talk about that quite a bit because in a crisis, parents and sometimes families are looking for immediate, and you hear what you hear on TV or you know what you know, and so that conversation to them is this. If I put he or she here, this is going to be long-term, it's going to help them. And we want them to understand our true goal is not to increase hospitalizations of youth. Our goal is to de-escalate and support families because we know that community-based services provide the best outcomes for children, not separating them from their families. So we do all we can to meet the level of need in the community as frequently as possible to keep the family together and to keep the kids safe and well. This is just a map of where and how people access it. So as I mentioned before, it used to be everybody came in through that front door of the Resource and Crisis Center. The YFCC entrance is on the lower level on Hospital Drive. It used to be a conference area. So that's the door now that everyone can go through. It's a beautiful facility. We did a soft launch in January, and I say soft launch as we opened it. We didn't send out their press releases, because we have no model to follow. So we needed to see what would those transitions look like and make sure that it was seamless and smooth as possible for families as possible. We had MDHHS come down, Director Elizabeth Hertel came down and walk through and say, did we miss anything? Is there something we should be looking for to keep the kids safe, to keep the family safe? So that anybody can come through that access. If they come through the front door, no one's gonna make them walk around. There is no wrong door in our world, so there will be somebody there that will escort the family to the YFCC. It is in that location, then again, that they will determine, does this child need and family need the higher level of care, and should they be transitioned into our crisis care unit? And then we do have an area similar to what we have for adults, where it is ambulatory. There is an emergency, that too, they have their own door. So then there's an emergency door by ambulance for adults, and there's a separate emergency door for families, and that is only through coordination with our hospital partners. We've done several webinars with them. We've walked through the information to make sure that it's clear and concise for their staff so they know how to use it, and we've had webinars with law enforcement as well so they understand their coordination needs to be with hospitals, and it's not a drop-off. It really does have to be the clinicians determining, is this where children need to be? I am thrilled. I'm like, you know, and when you watch something start some conceptualization, and you, like all of us have heard about families in a hospital, and there looks like, you know, how do you help get people out of an emergency room? And you build something from scratch with our amazing clinicians, and all of a sudden it's there, and the doors are open, and it's beautiful, and families are utilizing that service. It just breathes new hope into the community. So if you ever want to see it, just give us a call. If families are in there, we don't bring anyone in there. We respect their privacy, but everyone who has been through it so far has been really impressed, and again, are looking at it as the model to, okay, this is how it works. We're gonna start building this around the state. I expect the state will be launching 2 years, so we're about 3 years ahead of the game. So I'm very, very proud of our clinical team for their efforts in this process. That's all I have.
Thank you, Christine. If commissioners have a couple questions, we can ask them of Christine or her team. I just want to say, Christine, I think this model is impressive. I've had an opportunity to see, some of it, already. It's just another example of how OCHN is on the cutting edge. I think when you and the team present the programs that are available, it's a reminder for all of us to communicate out to the world what is available, and to really meet the individual and unique needs of folks, particularly in a crisis situation. So thank you. I don't see any hands from commissioners.
All right. Have a nice night, everyone.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. All right. I think that will conclude our presentations for the evening. We will move to, the presentation will move to communications, and I will call on the clerk. I believe we have a couple communications.
Mr. Chair, there's one communication dated May 11th to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Please Please accept this letter as notification that I have exercised the authority granted to the chair of the board to approve grant applications in excess of $50,000 for the purposes of meeting a submission deadline. Due to the grantor deadlines and the board's grant submission process and calendar, it is not possible to submit the application for full board consideration in accordance with our normal procedures. I have authorized the submission of the following grant applications. First, the MDNR ORV Trail Improvement Fund for the Parks and Recreation Department in the amount of $200,000. The grant application deadline was May 1st, 2023. Second, COVID-19 Health Equity Council continuation application for the Health Department in the amount of $390,144. The grant application deadline was April 15th, 2023. And finally, the Charging and Fueling CFI Discretionary Grant Program in the amount of $2,909,500, requiring a $581,900 or 20% match. The grant application deadline is May 30th, 2023. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Chair, Oakland County Board of Commissioners.
Thank you very much. Can we get staff to, we got people gathered out there. I know there's refreshments. We don't want to force people to go. That's perfect. If we can keep those doors, yes. Can we get a motion to approve the communications just read by the clerk? Moved by Commissioner Weipert, seconded by Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion on those communications? All of these are time sensitive. The grant application came in off sequence of what our normal business would be. Seeing no discussion, I will ask for all in favor of approving the communication, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the communications are received unanimously. The next we'll move to public comment. This first public comment is to speak on items as it relates to on the consent agenda or the regular agenda. We have a second public comment to speak on any other topic. If you're here to speak in public comment, just let me mention the item that you're speaking to, and if you can come to the mic. I don't think anyone signed up for it. Unless there's someone in the audience that's speaking to public comment on the items on the agenda, there is a second public comment to speak on any other topic. That's after we complete the new business. Seeing none, I will close the first public comment, and then we will have the second public comment shortly. This will move us to reports of standing committees. Most of the items that we're taking up today is on the consent agenda, so I need a motion to move the consent agenda. Moved by Commissioner Powell, seconded by Commissioner Hoffman. Is there any discussion? It reflects the work of the committees last week, a lot of road programs and a number of other items. Seeing no discussion, I will call on the clerk to prompt the vote on the consent agenda. My prompt didn't come up. It didn't come up on my. I vote yay.
I didn't get a prompt.
Mr. McGillivray? Yes. Mr. Chair, there are 18 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voted in the affirmative. The resolution of the consent agenda is adopted. That will now move us to our regular agenda. Now my pages are all messed up here. All right, so I think first up is the finance agenda.
I think so.
I think wait, I just want to make sure that
You don't have.
the regular. Economic development. Is there any item? Nope. Okay, so economic development and infrastructure committee, chaired by Commissioner Smith Charles. All those items were taken up in the consent agenda, and so I will recognize Commissioner Markham from the finance committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have 3 items on the regular agenda today. The first is the Board of Commissioners' sponsorship of the 2023 Clausen 4th of July Festival. Chair, on behalf of the Finance Committee, I move to recommend adoption of the foregoing resolution.
Moved by Commissioner Markham, seconded by Commissioner Lubes. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote. Try to refresh my screen.
Mr. Chair, there are 18 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. Commissioner Markham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next item is Board of Commissioners sponsorship of the 14th Annual International Lyon Township Kite Festival. Mr. Chair, on behalf of the Finance Committee, I move to recommend adoption of the foregoing resolution.
Moved by Commissioner Markham, seconded by Commissioner Weipert. Any discussion on this resolution? Commissioner Weipert.
This is the 14th Annual International Kite Festival. As we all learned from COVID, having outdoor activities not only promotes physical health, but improves our mental health. It also drives economic for Oakland County. We improves property values by having great events in our county, being known for it. Just so everybody knows, there was one of our kiters just came from Artavan, Italy. Artavan, Italy. 450,000 people were there last week. That's how big these kind of things can be. Now this one is in Lyon Township, James F. Atchison Memorial Park. Might only be 10,000 people, but it's a great event. It's June 3rd and 4th. I appreciate his support from everybody. It's a great event.
Sounds great. Thank you very much, Commissioner Weipert. Commissioner Miller.
Thank you, Chair. I did hear rumor that Commissioner Weipert is going to sing "Let's Go Fly a Kite" in front of everybody up there.
I think it's. I'm looking forward to the board's entrance into this festival. So in contest. So
I've been there.
fantastic. Any further discussion?
Kristen's got her hand.
Oh, Commissioner Nelson. Sorry, I just said behind me.
Hey, Sherry, I just want to give a gracious I appreciate you. Thank you, Commissioner Weber, for attaching the 2023 Kite Festival sponsorship opportunity.
Great. Great. Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote. Oh, yes, sorry. For whatever the prompts aren't coming up.
Mr. Chair, there are 18 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voted in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. Commissioner Markham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I read the next one, I just want to make a couple of comments about these special projects. We have 3 of them tonight. They represent the north, the south, the east part of the county. These are all ways that the commissioners can support what's going on in their community, and they show you the diversity across our county of the really fun activities that we have, and I really appreciate that we have the ability to participate locally in all of the small communities with some help financially with their special events that every community has. So I hope we can continue this practice for quite a long time. So the next item is the Board of Commissioners sponsorship of the 2023 U.S. National Bocce Tournament. Mr. Chair, on behalf of the Finance Committee, I move to recommend adoption of the foregoing resolution.
Moved by Commissioner Markham, seconded by Commissioner Gingell. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, there are 15 yeas, 3 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. Commissioner Markham.
Mr. Chair, that concludes the report of the Finance Committee.
All right, thank you very much. That will bring us to the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee, chaired by Commissioner McGilvery.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have 4 items on the regular agenda tonight. First is the Executive Office establishment of the Oakland County Acorn Two Oak Youth Mini Grant Program. On behalf of the Legislative Affairs and Government Committee, I move the recommendation to adopt the foregoing resolution.
Moved by Commissioner McGilvery, seconded by Commissioner Johnson. I believe that there's also an amendment to this item. I believe all commissioners were sent over. Sorry, I'll scroll down to the agenda here. There it is. And the amendment is to include the program guidelines that were supplied per the request of the committee of the executive office. And so that amendment's moved by Commissioner Jackson, seconded by Commissioner Cavell. Any discussion on the amendment? Commissioner Spiz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This amendment is in regards to my question and my reason I voted no in committee. So I will be supporting this amendment and the overall resolution after adopted.
Excellent. All in favor of, Mr. Clerk, why don't you prompt the vote on the amendment? Prompt the vote on the amendment? Yeah. Commissioner, on the amendment?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a yes. It didn't come up to me.
Markham votes yes.
On the amendment, there are 18 yeas, 0 nays.
The sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the amendment is adopted. That brings us back to the main motion. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll just say that I mean, this was a program and that was proposed during Executive Coulter's State of the County address, just last month, I guess technically March, and to be able to bring this, I think it's an incredible opportunity to invest in our youth and identify opportunities to be the things that make the difference, to have things go. And so I'm very excited that we're able to bring this to fruition. And it'll be a partnership with the Executive Office, the board, and our partners at Leadership Oakland. Seeing no further discussion, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote. I don't know, yeah. There's 4 of them that are disconnected.
Mine was working earlier, but.
Mr. Chair, there are 18 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number vote in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. Commissioner McGilvery.
Next item, Mr. Chairman, is Parks and Recreation, the First Amendment to the agreement with the Charter Township of Springfield for the Mill Pond Dam maintenance and repair. Mr. Chair, on behalf of the Legislative Affairs and Government Committee, I move the recommended adoption of the foregoing resolution.
Moved by Commissioner McGilvery, seconded by Commissioner Jackson, or Commissioner Joliet. We're going to make it Commissioner Joliet to be second that one. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote on the resolution.
Mr. Chair, there are 17 yeas, 1 nay.
A sufficient number vote in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. Commissioner McGilvery.
The next item, Mr. Chairman, is Parks and Recreation licensing and consent to work with Oakland County, Royal Oak Township for the Macro Park project. On behalf of the Legislative Affairs Committee, I recommend the foregoing resolution.
Moved by Commissioner Miller, seconded by Commissioner Smith Charles. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote. No, mine hasn't.
There's a ghost in the system.
Mr. Chair, there are 18 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. Commissioner McGilvery.
The next item is Parks and Recreation licensing agreement and consent to work with the City of Hazel Park for the Green Acres Park project. On behalf of the Lago Committee, I recommend adoption of the foregoing resolution.
Moved by Commissioner McGilvery, seconded by Commissioner Cavell. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, there are 18 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voted in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. Commissioner McGilvery.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right. All the items for public health and safety were taken up under the consent agenda, and I'll take us to reports of special committees. There is none. Special order of business, none. Unfinished business, none. And I'll move us to new and miscellaneous business, and I will call on Commissioner McGilvery.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to move for immediate consideration and adoption of the Health, Safety, and Human Services Parks and Recreation, item 21, titled Memorandum of Understanding and Donation Acceptance from the Huron-Clinton Metropolitan Authority for the 2023 Water Safety and Swim Lesson Program.
Commissioner McGilvery moves for immediate consideration of the item, seconded by Commissioner Long. All in favor of suspending the rules to take up this item immediately say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the motion for immediate consideration passes unanimously, and that will move us to the main motion moved by Commissioner McGilvery, seconded by Commissioner Long. Any discussion on this item? I believe that maybe both caucuses talked about this. This is a grant opportunity that's coming per our county policy. Anything over $10,000 needs board approval. We certainly like welcoming resources, but most importantly, the summer's coming, and this is going to pay for swim lessons for those who often are deprived of that opportunity. And so really, I mean, a partnership between Metro Parks and Oakland County Parks is a great thing. So thanks for bringing this forward and having us act promptly. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, there are 18 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voted in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. We have a few other items for introduction. I will first call on Commissioner Cavell.
Thank you, Chair.
Huntington Woods Fireworks.
Thank you. So I'd like referred to Finance Committee sponsorship of 2023 Huntington Woods Fireworks.
Referred without objection. Commissioner Cavell. Another item.
Cool. Item D, like referred to Finance, something co-sponsored by Commissioner Smith Charles, myself, and Commissioner Gershenson, a contribution to the creation of a web-based community connection app by the Alliance for Housing to Finance.
Referred without objection. Commissioner Powell. Holiday extravaganza. Refer to Finance.
Chairman, I'd like to introduce resolution.
The sponsorship of the 2023.
Sponsorship, thank you. I'm like, so.
The 2023 Holiday Extravaganza.
The 2023 Holiday Extravaganza, and it's to go to Finance Committee.
Referred to Finance without objection.
Referred, thank you. Thank you.
What else do we got? Did we take care of them all? 1 second. Is that all of them? I believe that's all of them. Yep, okay, good. All right. Okay, that'll move us to announcements. Is there any announcements that the board has for anybody? All right. Take good care and think of your mothers. Take good care of them this weekend and think them and hold them in our hearts if they are not with us today. This will now move us to the second public comment. This is the opportunity to speak on any topic. We ask that, I will start with the folks that signed up, and then anybody else who wants to come forward and speak. First, I'll just, kind of like start off that I just want to say a couple words. I've spoken to a number of parents of Notre Dame Prep, and I think to put in context of where the board is, first and foremost, I want to just make certain that everyone watching at home or here in the audience, that this board and frankly all the public leaders in Oakland County take the safety of all children regardless of what school they go to. The issue at hand is putting in place a policy and a contract for schools. Historically, Oakland County does not contract with schools, and that will be a new thing. We contract with cities, villages, and townships, and they are the contract administrator of law enforcement services. Because some cities have decided not to want to be a pass-through or set up separate arrangements, we've got to develop a policy so that, and then be the direct contractor with schools, school districts, and as we would suspect, more going forward. We are working with the administration, fiscal services, our legal team, risk management to make certain that all our ducks are in a row. I want to just, as I've told a number of the parents I've had the opportunity to talk to, that we are going to, get this in place long before the start of the next school year. And most importantly, even though a contract technically actually does not exist currently, the services that have been in place and have been in place for a while, it does not exist with the city of Pontiac or the county. That's going to stay in place until this gets all put in place. And so I want to make sure that all parents know that nothing is changing in that regard, and we will have a contract very soon. With that, I will first call on Michael. Is it Kazahak?
Kazamchak. Good evening, everyone.
And
thank you for taking
I ask you
time.
to keep your, if you state your location and keep your comments to 3 minutes. We have a little timer up here.
3 minutes. Michael Kazamchak. I'm a resident of Lake Angeles. I'm a parent of several students at Notre Dame Prep. Thank you for your opening comments. I think factually there may be some questions in terms of the affirmations you made and the position that many that have looked at the contract that exists today, that in fact there is a contract in place. So I guess we can talk about that offline. I'm here to express, I guess, our disappointment that you've been in possession of a contract that was prepared by Sheriff Bouchard since December, and that this contract has not been acted upon. As background, the contract has the school paying 100% of the costs as defined by Sheriff Bouchard. So there's just a big question mark as to the delays. 80% of our students are Oakland County residents. Hopefully post the Channel 7 news, you realize that there is a large cross-section of residents in the county that are troubled that this matter has become politicized, and that it does threaten our children's safety. I appreciate Chairman Woodward, the comments about fall and class, but our campus operates year-round. We have law enforcement there year-round because the students are there year-round, so it's important that we resolve this rather quickly to ensure a continuation of those services with the Sheriff's Office. And I think the request this evening is your definitive commitment that this will be on the June agenda. Chairman Woodward, can I have your commitment that the Notre Dame contract will be on the June agenda?
Customary, we don't go back and forth. As soon as all the things that we were doing and staff has to do in our due diligence and to satisfy our statutory and fiduciary responsibilities, it will be on immediately. And I certainly hope that we can get all those things done by then.
Thank you. A bit short of a definitive commitment.
It's a lot of people involved in it.
The head of schools asked all of us to show restraint. I think we've done so. You do not have 2,000 angry residents here tonight. That was another option. Considerable time has passed. This matter has become more volatile. It is escalating. As evidence of this, I was in contact earlier today with Attorney Stephen Dunn with Bodman Law. I understand you exchanged communications with him and you understand his position on this matter. For the other commissioners, if you're not privy to the back and forth that the chairman has been having with Attorney Dunn, it would be appropriate for you to get copies of that communication. It will also provide you with additional context in terms of the message from Attorney Dunn. Attorney Dunn requested that I formally message the board. If this matter is not resolved immediately, he will take appropriate legal action on behalf of the students and the school against the commission for failure to act to approve the new arrangement and supply deputies to the school on a permanent basis. I hope that we can forego this matter escalating. It's going to be a distraction to resources, to time and energy. We hope and pray that we can bring this matter to an amicable conclusion.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else that want to come in? No one else signed up. Does anyone else want to speak?
I would like to speak, actually.
Please. You just give your name and community. Welcome back.
Sure, thank you so much. Hello, I'm Elizabeth Van Heck. I live in Davisburg, Michigan, also parents of Notre Dame prep children. And I'm sure you all know my name if you don't know my face, because I flood your inbox all the time. But I just had a question about why the existing contract that was already drafted by the Oakland County Sheriff's Office and Michael Bouchard can't move forward. I guess, considering this is a contract with their office in our school, and that's kind of their wheelhouse, they already had Corporation Counsel, draft the contract and approve it. It doesn't, go against any state legal laws or, anything like that. So just to clear it up, why can't that existing contract move forward? Why do we have to kind of recreate the wheel on this?
So during public comment, we don't go back and forth. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's my public comment.
Thank you.
So if anyone wants to email me some answers to that, that would be great, because so far I've sent, a number of emails and I've gotten no responses from anybody. So anyway, obviously if you, have any answers to that, that would be great. I guess we can move it offline. We want to respect your process, but that is a big question that all the parents have, really, is there is a contract drafted. Why can't we move forward with that? So anyway, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? If you can state your name and community, and welcome.
Sure. Thank you. My name is Kevin Nunning. I live in Troy. I, as well, am the father of 2 Notre Dame students. And I hope that Board of Commissioners, I could see this contract get on the agenda. My understanding is that discussions start in December. Here we are 5 months later, 3 months, the school year starts. 2 kids there. We're willing to fund it. I think school safety is in everyone's best interest. There's not a financial hurdle to this. And it doesn't seem like we've made any progress so far. So I ask that you please, whatever fiduciary legal review it has, it's the same answers I heard before, so it sounds like it's being stalled with no reason. And I'd like to encourage you guys to please push this forward, and hopefully we won't have to show up next month. Unless, of course, there's something else of interest to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome. If you can state your name and residency, and welcome.
Good evening. My name is Julia Green. I'm a resident of Pontiac, Michigan. I live 1 mile or less from Notre Dame Preparatory. My children graduated in 2014. I am here to let you know of the depth of this community. I'm an alumni parent, and I'm hearing that the students may not have the same safety that other students with SROs do. And that disturbs me. There was a situation that my children were involved in 2013 that involved the Oakland County Sheriff and the school. And having that SRO would have made me feel much better in what happened. Thankfully, it's been resolved. Everything is fine. But it's just that idea of safety. I also want to call the commissioner's attention to, there are 2 other high school campuses within walking distance of Notre Dame Preparatory, including Pontiac High School and Oakland Technical Campus Northeast. Having SROs together in those 3 campuses, I can see where there would be some really good continuity. Those children know each other. Let the SROs help with that. We really want to see, I want to see as a community member of Pontiac, I want to know that those children at Notre Dame Preparatory are safe. Because maybe I'll have grandchildren that go there someday. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Commissioner Powell, I've had a very difficult day today, but I want to stand with my commissioners. I represent where Notre Dame School is, and I want to promise you parents, our commissioners have been on board in support of a SRO officer, be it at any school, especially post-Oxford situation, okay? There is a process. I know it's a lot of back and forth between us and the sheriff department. I know that. And let me say this to you all. I stayed right there.
Direct your comments to me, Commissioner.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I just wanted to really stress to them as a commissioner,
Through me.
representing that area. Thank you. I'm sorry. Representing that area, and on behalf of our commissioners, to let you parents know, we hear you all. And yes, there are 2 other schools right there that share the same campus. And yes, we do have SROs already at the high school. And the high school is troubled. Notre Dame has been safe over the years. And yes, we do understand that you financially is taking care of it and everything, but there is a process. And a lot of stuff you all don't know. But at the end of the day, our chair has promised us as commissioners, and especially Commissioner Spears, that this will be rectified as soon as possible, but we know for damn sure before them kids start school by next summer. And I wanted to go on record with that. I thank all my colleagues for always supporting any school that we try to advocate for to get these officers in there. I'm born and raised from that city. I went to Pontiac School District. We always had SROs, and I've always been an advocate for them. So just know that once this process is in place, things did change at the local level and how this can proceed. And that is what also added another delay. And how I know that, because I work for the city of Pontiac as well. So I just want to put that on record to support us as as commissioners, because we're getting beat up too. And I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of the back and forth between us and the sheriff department. And at the end of the day, parents, Notre Dame, hear it. You all are going to get an SRO. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Commissioner Powell. And I guess for those who are watching at home, SROs that have been in place at Notre Dame Prep are still in place, and that has never changed, never been in jeopardy or anything. And we will get this resolved as soon as possible. Seeing no further comment, we will close the second public comment of tonight's meeting. And without any further business, we will adjourn until our next meeting, May 25th, or call the chair.